Viewers,
What's going on, people?
this is your boy, TheDreadMan, aka Dreadman J, kicking it on my boy E, and welcome to tonight's sports podcast. Here to chop it up about this Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 2 match. So, anyway, E, what about your initial thoughts? Because really, this fight was not supposed to be happening at all. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, really, we didn't even think we would get to this point. I mean, now we have a rematch between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. I mean, the guy who wasn't supposed to win. But anyway, what about you? What's your initial thoughts?
Well, truthfully, I mean, like you said, this fight wasn't supposed to happen in the first place because if you remember during the first fight, it was originally Conor McGregor versus Rafael dos Anjos, but he got injured last minute, so Nate was a replacement and pulled up upset of the century, winning the fight last minute. I mean, that he wasn't supposed to be on, but winning that fight and really kind of killing UFC superstar right there. Shortly after they lost Ronda Rousey too via her getting her fucking head kicked off. So yeah, I mean that was the one that wasn't supposed to happen, the one that Conor wasn't supposed to lose. So now we got the rematch, and I'm gonna roll with my boy Nate again. I had Nate in the first fight just because I just wanted the upset. I want Conor to go back and defend his belt and quit doing all this other shit.
Yeah.
And I got Nate in the rematch too because I don't want this to be a trilogy. I just kind of want it to be done. I want Conor to stick to his division and leave it alone. And I say that because again, he's the 145-pound champion.
Right.
He has been since December. Here it is, August. He's fighting another fight out of his division and hasn't defended the belt once in his own division. So that division's kind of on standby. So that's what, I mean, I just kind of hope Nate just kind of, slaps him around, maybe gets the choke. But I know Conor's not going for that bullshit. It's going to be spin kicks left and right, Yeah, he's gonna try to bust him up again. He seems a lot more serious about it this time.
Oh, absolutely. And just to piggyback on what you said, I mean, this fight wasn't supposed to happen for two reasons. One, Conor's not even in the same weight class as him. And two, like I said, he was a replacement fighter and everything. But basically what I'm trying to say right now is, do you think that Conor has? I mean, you said Conor can take the fight a little bit more serious now, right? So
yeah.
I mean, Nate Diaz is going into this. I think is he the favorite going into this, or is he the underdog?
I haven't seen the actual odds yet. Usually there's predictions and then there's the odds that release, a few days before the fight from Vegas. So I don't know who's the favorite going into this. I think last time I saw Conor was still the favorite over Nate.
Yeah.
Just like he was the first time. So, but I think it's closer. I think it's a closer margin than the odds.
Yeah. And, well, basically, I mean, Nate Diaz, he proved that, he's the comeback kid. He proved that, he's, no matter how much you beat him down, he's always going to find a way to come back. He's the comeback kid. But, the man's record is what, 27-10, I believe it is, something like that. I mean, the man,
it's about 20-10, either 19-10 or 20-10. He's got a lot of losses over the years.
Yeah.
But it's right around 20. Now you might be thinking of Nick. I think his brother has around 27 wins or so. I think something like that.
But yeah, but regardless, the dude, he's seen a lot of wars. He's been in a lot of battles over the past 10 years. But going into this rematch with Conor, do you think that, he has an advantage because he has so much more experience than Conor, or do you think that there's going to be a disadvantage because he's got so much wear and tear on his body over the years?
I think his actual mixed martial arts experience is greater than McGregor's. Because, truthfully, records don't really mean too much to me. You can have an undefeated fighter lose to somebody who's, lost 5, 6, 7 fights. Robbie Lawler, well, he just lost, but he was welterweight champion with 10 losses on his record.
Yeah.
So, that experience matters. Now, naturally, I get what you're asking too. Over time, you're taking all that damage. will that kind of wear and tear on your chin eventually come into play, But Nate's a martial artist, man, a pure jiu-jitsu guy. You can legitimately say, well, he's better than Conor grappling,
Right.
better than Conor on the ground,
Right.
take an ass whooping better than Conor, because if you go back and watch that fight, yeah, he was getting busted up, but he caught Conor with like a really quick just 1-2. And Conor was like, oh shit, that shit hurt.
Yeah.
And he looked like he didn't expect it. So some people are more used to just kind of taking shots like that on the chin and moving, and other people who probably don't, get that much damage in fights, they get hit like that and they don't know what the fuck to do. So Conor tried to go for a takedown, and he's not even he's not that guy to try to wrestle. So that's how you knew he didn't know what to do in that situation. It's like I'm hitting him and he's not going down. And then he hit me, and that shit hurt. So he completely stepped out of character. So I think Nate's overall mixed martial arts experience, despite the losses, which a lot of them, I mean, you don't really finish a guy like Nate Diaz. He's only been finished twice in his career. Only one TKO, and the other time he got submitted. Other than that, every loss has been split decision or decision, and he's finished tons of guys by submission. Others by TKOs and things like that. So his experience is definitely, in my opinion, better overall than Conor's.
But yeah, a lot of people even going into this fight, even going into the first fight and the second fight, Conor has been put on the chopping block a lot. He's been criticized for being, he's a one-trick pony, he's one-dimensional, all he knows is striking, and that could work against him too because, like I was saying before, the two biggest mistakes that he made was, one, taking the fight on such short notice, and two, going up against somebody who has better wrestling experience than him. And even the announcer said that, well, he's never really faced adversity. Most of Conor's fights don't go past the first round, so that's working against him, in his experience too. So. Yeah, that could really work against him. But anyway, on to the nitty gritty. Let's start with Conor McGregor. Keys to victory. What does he have to do?
So he really needs to do a lot of what he did the first time, as far as his footwork. He was on point with the striking. Naturally, he eventually lost the battle with the gas tank because, again, you don't really see Conor get dragged out so many rounds. Usually if he's hitting guys with those shots, they fall. So, hopefully his gas tank can stay full, but he's not going to finish a guy like Nate by submission. So he's going to need to either be able to get the finish on the feet or be able to stand on his feet long enough round for round without, emptying the gas tank. That and working on his takedown defense, because when he got on the ground, again, he easily gave up his back.
Yeah.
So he kind of looked like a rookie out there. Nate was just doing what he wanted when he wanted.
True.
So avoiding the ground altogether or knowing how to defend it. I think that's, as long as he's got that, he can do the same thing he did in the first fight and just kind of bust Nate up and get that decision or get that TKO.
Right. And as good of a striker as Conor McGregor is, he made one fatal mistake, and it's against a guy like Nate Diaz that you don't want to make. And do you want to know what that mistake is? He let him hang around way longer than he should. He let him hang around way longer than he should have instead of just getting out of there. He let him hang around for so long. He's like, okay. By the second round, he's like, okay, if I can take this guy down, then I got him. That's the number one mistake he made in the first fight. But you're right. To Conor's keys to victory is, well, one, he has to keep him within striking distance. He's going to have to work Nate's body because that's something that a lot of people do not do. He's going to have to keep him at bay with leg kicks. And if he does get him in the clinch, which, I mean, it's neck and neck when it comes to the clinch game, but he's going to have to work those knees in the clinch. He's going to have to work those elbows and those he's going to have to work those punches, even, when he's on the gate. Also, do not let him take you down, because if you do, it's going to be a long night. Also, keep the footwork going. And this is something that I hope he's worked on in the gym too. He's going to have to force Nate to come closer to him. He's going to have to be the counter puncher. He's gonna have to be the counter striker in situations. He can't rush in on Nate because if he does, then Nate's gonna shoot the grapple. He's gonna shoot the takedown and get out of the way, or he's gonna end up, reversing it. So he's gonna have to, make Nate chase him, and then like when he's coming in to chase him, he can just pop him and just move out of the way. So that's pretty much my keys to victory for Conor McGregor. Now, Nate Diaz keys to victory.
So again, much of the same. Nate. Again, he's a guy that can weather that storm, and they know his camp knows, his corner who's going to be there with him. They know that Conor's going to come out guns a-blazing. So again, he has the reach advantage. Just needs to work that outside jab. It was that 1-2, just a couple of quick that initially kind of turned the tides in Nate's favor in the first match. So I think just kind of using that reach to keep him at bay if he can. But if Conor closes the distance, I think that's when you need to quit wasting time, trying to show and prove that, yeah, I can strike with the best of them too. Right. Grab that fool, take him down, because Conor he's garbage grappling compared to Nate.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, if you look back, even back in the 145-pound division when Conor fought Chad Mendes is 5'6". He was he's a wrestler, but he was taking Conor down easily. Nate's 6 feet tall, and he's coming in at 170, so you can get Conor to the ground if he closes that distance.
Yeah.
Whether you shoot the takedown or transition from the clinch, I think if Nate made it more of a pure grappling match, I believe he could finish him in the first round. Right. Honestly, with the submission.
Yeah.
I just think he's that more. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think his submission, his ground game is just that much better, honestly.
Yeah. All right, now, as far as what I think that Nate Diaz has to do, number one, don't trade with Conor. Do not try to go in here in this fight and try to play his game like, okay, I beat him my way last time. This time I'm going to beat him in his own game. Don't do that because you're asking for a hurt. Second thing he has to do, what you said, basically he can out wrestle Conor all day long. So basically he's going to have to run out Conor's gas tank because, as I mentioned, Conor does not do well past the first round. So Nate can use that to his advantage, with his experience. So it's like, okay, I've taken this guy past the first round. His tank's starting to run on E, so now I can out wrestle him and do what I want with him. So, and third thing he has to do is, well, if he does find himself in a slugfest with him, then he can probably try to shoot a takedown, go for his legs because a lot of the times, Conor's recovery time from kicks is not that fast. He's fast at punches, but when he kicks, his recovery time from kicks is okay, well, you can easily do a single leg or a double leg takedown on Conor. So, yeah, he's going to have to, counter Conor's his kicks with his grappling. So that's pretty much what he has to do to win. But anyway, final thoughts on the fight. Who you got?
Well, the biggest difference this time here from the first fight is that both of these guys have a full camp where they know who they're fighting. No last-minute replacements, no BS, no excuses from any side this time, So final thoughts on this fight. Let's not make it a trilogy. Let's get Nate this win and then have him fight in his respective division. Keep giving him big money fights, move him towards the title. In his division, whatever you want to do, because you could technically say Nate's the 145-pound champion since he beat the champion already. Let Conor take that L. Let him go back, defend against Aldo or Frankie Edgar. It would be Jose Aldo again. But final thoughts, I'm going to say Nate Diaz, third round submission.
Bold prediction, especially because
I got to keep it bold. I got to keep it bold.
But the thing is, if you think about it, Nate really has nothing to lose here. He really doesn't have anything to
lose.
He
doesn't. He doesn't. He's gonna get a fat check.
Conor has way more to lose, which is why I think that Conor has a better chance to win this time because now he actually knows what to expect. He went and fought a guy 10 pounds heavier than him, and a guy who's 4 inches taller. So hopefully he trained for that. hopefully he trained. Both of them trained for endurance. I mean, Nate Diaz,
Right.
hopefully, he trained to go the distance because he's gonna need it. But
Oh, well, Nate Diaz is a triathlete. Like in his downtime, he's on that vegan shit. He's a triathlete, so running marathons and everything, bike riding up mountains. Like his conditioning's never in question for me.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, like you
Conor,
said, he doesn't have anything to lose.
yeah,
But
Conor's a different story.
the UFC has a lot to lose though if Conor loses this fight a
Oh yeah,
second time.
yeah, that's pretty much the cash cow. But
Yeah.
I'm also I'm gonna roll the dice and I'm gonna say Connor by first round TKO. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
First round TKO. Okay, okay. That's also bold.
Yeah,
So what do you think he's gonna catch Nate with like a spinning back kick or something?
he's gonna catch
Something
him.
wild?
I think he's gonna catch him the same way he caught Aldo. Now, mind you, the thing is,
Mm.
people said that Aldo had a strong chin, but then he tapped him and went down in 15 seconds. I mean, like, you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
his chin. I mean, like, his chin was never questioned before that fight. Now, can we say the same thing about Nate Diaz?
Well, again, I mean, Nate Diaz has been knocked out once, but I mean, one time in 30 fights when you have 10 losses, I don't think that's that bad. When you tell me a guy has 10 losses on his record, I think he's getting like slept like old man Roy Jones or something out here.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, only that one guy was able to do just an off the wall ass head kick. Um, but we'll see. I mean, he makes Connor look like the smaller man when he's eating his shots that put other people down. He's making it look like you are a 145-pound man. I'm okay. So okay, so you got first round TK, I got third round sub. I guess we'll see how this goes, but either way, it's gonna be a hell of a fight card, hell of a weekend, and that's pretty much all I got on that one.
yeah. Maybe we'll see. It should be a very interesting fight weekend. Yeah, you guys leave your comments and the predictions and let us know how you feel. Now,
Yeah, I'm curious to read these.
now,